So Shajan is married and he has one kid, not two. Okay, and I don't live with him. Just to clarify. Okay. So can you tell me a little bit about what you are up to nowadays, etc.
I think my newly found purpose that I think is wellness and well-being. So I'm actually trying to work out something very transdisciplinary at the intersection of 4 different verticals, you can say, which is psychology, sociology, legal, legal, policy, regulatory. That's like one vertical, and obviously communities happens to be one.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, and technology is like a layer that exists anyway. I'm trying to learn and read a lot about that space and also build something there.
Okay.
Specifically focused at young people, somewhere aged 18 to 39. So that's what I am trying to do.
I end up specializing in community building and management. I built my own community back in Dubai.
Program you did with Shweta, as in like
So
The mind program.
in the
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
The same program that
I also
you were there.
did it,
Yeah.
So that program, my project was with Shweta. Like Shweta was
Yes,
my
I was-
industry.
Industry.
Yeah. My first conversation was with Shweta only in regard to that.
Everyone's
Course.
first
Yeah.
conversation.
Everybody's conversation was with Shweta. Shweta kind of became my industry mentor too. That got me interested in community building. So right now what I do is I help people in the region build good or decent community. So that's one thing
Okay.
I consult with.
Okay.
But at the same time, the other thing I have been finding is personal brand, which is supposed to be a big buzzword right now. Everybody is trying to cut copy paste.
This is all in Dubai region.
Dubai.
Okay.
All in
Okay.
Dubai and across. I mean, I can do sometimes 1 or 2 clients I do speak to who are based in India or based
Okay.
in US. But what I do is I help them curate their own personal stories
Okay.
and go from there and build authentic content rather than copy pasting somebody else's cookie cutter.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's something that I'm currently working on. Slowly transitioning into making things by hand, getting into the artist creative space. So yeah, I've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years now.
Like for me, it has been I'm currently working on the initiatives at the everything which deals with the space side of things, be it at the barn or the farm. And one of the core things that I'm currently working on is the relaunch of the course, which we were all a part of. I think in a way it has helped many of us to be where we are today, because 5 years back, right? 5
Yeah.
years back when it was, it's
5
been,
years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like
Long.
Five
Yeah.
half a decade. Yeah. It kind of changed the way we look at the world and work on
Yeah.
ourselves and our communities and things like that. So in what way did that particular program kind of helped you? If you can say, then maybe we can go to you.
Yeah, so
Or
I'll
did
talk
you-
from my
yeah,
perspective
yeah.
because
Yeah.
I had like so many roles. I had one of my roles was being a mentor for the teams.
Yeah.
One of them was hosting the talk which were happening. I think Mind Leaders Live.
Mind Leaders Live,
Leaders Live
yeah.
was the talk, right? And obviously being like the academic,
Yeah.
like
We're calling it Mindcast this time, by the way.
okay. My favorite thing about the program was the diversity of people that we were kind of able to get. So you come from a very different background and you come from a very different background. Then we had someone from interior and architecture background, someone who works in finance, right? So then we had like a great ops guy like
Yeah.
Vijayant, right? And also like it was the diversity across the professions and the diversity across I would also say years of experience. I think that was my favorite thing because a lot of times when we are trying to do like design led or design fueled innovation, I think what I miss the most is the diversity, right? Even when you're working with a school, let's say it's a school, but then all of them are engineers or all of them are like from a particular discipline, right? So all of them think very, I would say, very similar way, right? So and that's like exactly opposite of how design should happen, right? Because design is about capturing perspectives, right?
Right.
So I think this was one of the things that I have done in my life which had the kind of diversity I would want to see in anything that has the design led track. that was like my favorite thing about the program. That is what I enjoyed the most. Also, when we were able to kind of put together all of these teams, we made sure that like the design, the diversity of the candidates is maintained, right? That was my favorite part. Obviously, like there are many things, but I think my favorite part was that.
When the Mind program happened, it so randomly popped up on my feed and got talking.
It was not random, huh? It was very strategic.
For me, it was random.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Because it was so random.
Yeah.
And you actually don't think too much about it. Yes, the course was good.
Yeah.
There were a lot of elements that we could take back. And one thing I realized is when it comes to marketing, tech, product, doesn't matter what you do. It's the same framework that we do, or that we did at the course, that gets implemented at the industry level too. And I've taken elements from here into what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Since you were also one of the learners of the program, you were super interested in aviation, and you worked on a project on a live project, which was about redefining airports, right? And we were talking about like the shifts, how they work through time. That is something that also ties into your work, because later on, I think you actually worked on a live project, right? Which was with the Hyderabad airport, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, how was your experience of working in a simulation, which obviously is also a live project with BIAL, and then carrying all of that to an actual project, right? While working with Spread. So yeah, how was that?
That's a lot of questions. Okay. See, today many people they always try to kind of weave a narrative as to how their future should be, but they're not able to figure out as to what is the meaning or the purpose or the direction in life, etc. Which reminds me of a quote by Steve Jobs. Not a quote per se, this is something that he said. Okay, sometimes you can connect the dots when you look behind.
Yeah.
You can't. It's sometimes. I mean, most of the time, it's
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to connect the dots looking at the future.
Yeah.
How the aviation story happened was, I was not interested in aviation initially. Just to correct you, I was interested in anything that flew, be it birds or spaceships or
Okay.
UFOs from science fictions, and then came
Now it
the
feels like it's 5 years.
yeah. Then obviously the first task was to kind of create a plane and make it fly.
Okay.
And before I spoke to you, I spoke to Shurjo, who happened to be a part of the cohort as well.
Yeah.
So, and I watched one of the Mind Leaders live session, and it kind of caught my attention as to why can't I also create something like them? Because I have the imagination, but I don't have the platform.
Yeah.
I have the creativity maybe, but I don't have people to work with. So this kind of created a concoction and the conditions for me to actually implement my ideas or work in teams. So when the Bangalore airport dare came to me, it was about bringing back airlines, bring back passengers, bring back revenue within a 5 months period when lockdown is going on, which was quite a challenge. So we had to ideate and create a blueprint of a solution, which we call prototypes, the prototype to the actual tangible solution, which we presented to the strategy head and the leadership team. And they were quite impressed by what we presented. More importantly, they were impressed by the way in which we communicated our big idea. Fast forward to 2023, when I still found myself again coincidentally working on the Hyderabad airport, the branding of the Hyderabad airport, which was quite a big project. In between, I had worked for the research of the North Goa airport, which came to being. So in one way or the other, aviation kept coming back into my life. We did a project called the Shifts Report 2020, based on transitions that we see and the transformations that we see in society happening in each segment of our lives, be it social, technology, nature, so I mean that kind of created and that kind of created a interest, like among many of us to work on shifts projects, like later on, well, like as well. So yeah, I think in a way the course kind of helped me in a big way to learn how to do things
Yeah.
and how also not to do things, which is a
Yeah.
big learning that has happened in the last 5 years, which I think as designers, innovators, technocrats, like that's a big thing today, like people don't focus on, because everybody wants to kind of win and create the next big thing, and I am leading this, leading that. But the biggest learning that has happened through the course and the journey that followed afterwards was how to not do things, which is also important, so I've learned quite a lot, like be it in terms of the technical skills, the craft, managing communities, coming to a stage where, like I directed Design Open, like for 2 seasons straight.
Yeah.
Then events and much more. I can go on. The list is endless.
Yeah. What I think is, now that you have said that, like a very good insight for me is that what this program did, which I do not see right now in very much in the segment. So there's an education or institutional academic ecosystem, and then there is there is the industry, right, where there's a lot of work happening at a much higher speed. I think we need something in between these two. And I think just like when you're going for being a pilot, because we are talking about aviation, I'll just take this analogy. If you're going to become a pilot, you do the theoretical study, then you have something called as flight simulator, right, which simulates the environment where you train and do everything, and that gives you like a very realistic view. Even there are these setups of, I've seen this prototypes of setups which simulate skiing, right? Yeah. So the skiing, I don't know what is it called, on which they
The gliders.
the gliders, yeah, the gliders, they are put on like rails, and then the people who are training, it's like a simulator, so they practice on the gliders, right?
But it feels real.
It feels very real.
Yeah.
And the glider is specifically designed to make it very close to how you'll actually flow in when you're actually on the ice, right? So I think the program was very much that, right? So when you talk about working on live project with VIL, how it helps. So I think this program creates that missing piece between industry and academics, where you do where you work with the simulation and actually do a lot of I would say with a lot of protection and guardrails. You do a lot of testing, you try to fail, build, right? Which makes you way too ready than what pure academics will make you to actually go and execute when you are on an actual project. So I think that is also a great, I would say, insight.
Anyone who wants to move into the space of experiencing something new, I think they do need to come in and try the Mind program, because it gives you an exposure to a designer's mindset, which is very unique from what a project manager would.
Over a period of time, these programs can redefine that understanding of design and make people understand that design is like when you maybe I would really want to see that I search UI UX, Google search, and I see physical products, I see some screens, I see table and chairs, I see aeroplanes, right? So that's what I would like to, that's how I would like design to evolve and understanding of design to evolve. And I think programs like these have that capability.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, right? It's how to help a non-designer think like a designer.
Yeah.
And when you think like a designer, it's a very different perspective. When you speak to a non-designer and you speak to a designer, you see poles apart. So that's the other thing now, because I'm part of the Dubai ecosystem, part of the design and the tech space. I've run events which are very design-centric and which are very non-design-centric. You always have a lot of fun speaking to a designer. So how can you implement that curiosity of a designer into a non-tech, like a non-design person? It'll change.
Yeah. And programs like these have that capability, potential, resources to kind of actually start doing that shift, right? In the system. So
Plant the seed and let it grow.